What's going on, everybody? This is Rainy St. Pierre, actually Rainy Paul St. Pierre the Third, not Rene, not Rene, not Randy, not whatever else, not an alcoholic, not a drug addict, none of those things. My name's Rainy. I'm here with Bobby C. And Bobby C is actually one of the first people at the beginning of my awakening. There was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there was nobody online. There was the Freedom Model, Mark and Michelle, and I'll give them their shout out, and Bobby C. And that was the begin. And Monica, can't forget the OG Monica Richardson with the 13 Step movie. But 5, 6 years ago, when I was waking up to realizing that I was in the cult of Alcoholics Anonymous and going through this midlife crisis, my whole life falling apart because I realized I had been duped. I happened to find this guy named this dude from New Jersey doing it with this other cat from New Jersey, talking about breaking down the 12 steps and how it's a religious cult. And we did a couple podcasts a few years ago, and that was at the beginning of my deprogramming journey. And here we are back for another round to talk some stuff and turn it over to Bobby C.
Oh, no, that's amazing. 3 years ago, I was just looking. I went down and checked out the latest podcast. 3 years ago, 6 years. That's how long when I started this. 6 years. Here's one of these things. We're going to talk about the illusion of celebrating this time. That's all you hear, celebrating time for the lifetime, celebrating clean and sober, sobriety. I'm in recovery. I'm getting sick of it. So sick. Yeah, here it is right here, right? That's when I picked up my chip 35 years ago. Oh, yeah, I had to get it because, oh, I was so special. Yeah, I'm so special. I keep these for props. I keep these coins for props around because they remind me how indoctrinated, because look, in the middle is us. We're in the middle of the triangle. Oh yeah. And then it says unity, service, of course, and recovery in the triangle, in a circle. And on the outside, it says, to thy own self be true. What a crock of bullshit. You can't be true to yourself in Alcoholics Anonymous. Impossible. Okay. But doesn't this remind us something? Look at the triangle and the circle and the all-seeing eye.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Symbolism.
Symbolic symbolism. I think you posted Jordan Maxwell. He's the godfather of symbolism, right? Check
It's
him out.
all right in front of our eyes. They have to tell us before they do it in order to escape the karma.
Let's talk about this. I don't even like to use the word newcomers. People come in Alcoholics Anonymous like ourselves. We came in first. We come in. We're a newcomer. First of all, what do? Take the cotton out of our ears? Put it in our mouth? Shut up. Okay?
Don't ask questions.
Don't question anything. Think, think, think. You know that sign, think, think, think? We used to turn it over upside down because they didn't want people to think, don't drink, and go to meetings. Expound on this, Rainey. Talk more about this here.
I never wanted to be in Alcoholics Anonymous. I fortunately did not have a mother or father that were in Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't have any uncles, or I knew nothing about the cult of Alcoholics Anonymous until August of 2001 when I set foot in my first Massachusetts state-funded detox center for what was not an Oxycontin addiction. It was an Oxycontin dependency. And I needed to be medically detoxed, but I did not need to be brainwashed, indoctrinated, subconsciously programmed to believe. Now, at the time, a year prior to me ending up in this detox center, I was playing in the Division III College World Series. So I was a two-sport collegiate athlete. I couldn't have been powerless to play football and baseball at the collegiate level. I think it's like 5% of the world's population makes it to play in the NCAA collegiate level, whether it's Division I, II, or III. I ended up in Division III because I lost my scholarships because I was Prop 48 because of some high school shit. But I never desired to join a cult. I never desired to I was raised Catholic, and due to some of the stuff that went on with the priests, I really had walked away from that. So I wasn't looking for a relationship with God to break my habit with OxyContin. And unfortunately, I ended up in a detox center, and I intuitively and instinctively knew it was a cult. But what did I know at 23 years old? Why would the state of Massachusetts be presenting a religious cult as help? Why would the state waste millions of dollars on a religious cult or pseudoscience? I didn't even know what pseudoscience was. So I never, I was popular. I didn't need a fellowship. I didn't need to make friends. I was a hustler. I was a dealer. I was, an all-state athlete that had plenty of friends and was popular. Didn't have a hard time getting girls. Might have been shy. Might have been insecure. Might have had low self-esteem, which I believed OxyContin helped with that. But I was that kid that had the fake ID and threw the keg parties, and I was that kid going to Costco and buying boxes of M&Ms and blow pops and selling them in middle school, like always trying to. I'm an entrepreneur, and I went for help, and I've went for help for over 50 times. I've been to 50 different treatment centers, and I finally realized 20 years later I never got any help.
Yeah, and this is the help that you're talking about. This is
Never
the
got
help.
any help.
Now, this is the help they gave us. This is their solution. The solution is God, AA. Replace the word God and just put AA in there because that's what the atheist and agnostic do. They say AA, Alcoholics Anonymous Fellowship, is I worship them. I replace God with them. Here's their solution. Step 7. You got to get to step 7 because I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me the strength as I go out here to do your bidding. That's the solution. A, B, and C, God could and would if he were sought. Period. They say we got the 7-step prayer, we got the 11-step prayer, 11-step prayer, Saint Francis of Assisi. Where did we get that at? That's a Catholic prayer. We got the Our Father, 3rd-step prayer, Serenity prayer. It's not religious. It's religion. Okay, just admit it. I mean, at least just admit and say Alcoholics Anonymous is a
Yeah.
religion, and I want to join it. You know, just like you join Catholic Church, Protestant, Presbyterian, any
And God
Christian.
is God.
Go ahead.
Oop, you froze for a second. God is mentioned in 5 of the 12 steps. So like, but then they gaslight you and that's
Yeah, we're
word spiritual. Well, God is religious. I don't care how you cut it. It's religious. And then Bill spends, if you know Bill, he's a con man hustler from New York. Well, he's really from Vermont, but he's a shitbag stockbroker. The perfect example to cheat, a manipulator, a womanizer. You would not trust any female, your sister, your mother, your wife around this man because he's such a dirtbag. And he spends what, the first, I think, 4 or 5 chapters finessing and manipulating this God thing. He has to spend 4 or 5 chapters trying to manipulate you into accepting a religious cult as your savior.
yeah, hijacking true spirituality, and saying that it is not religious, it's spiritual. And that's the whole deal. So this thing, illusion of time, because we only have now. There's no such thing as the past, the present. We only have the now. Eckhart Tolle talks about that. He wrote a couple books on the power of now. Relapse. The whole program is the lowest vibrational frequency energy that you can get on the chart, on the vibrational chart. Fear, shame, and guilt. You go back out, you relapse, you come back in, you got to start over. How can you start over something? It's like your information, it didn't leave you. The knowledge did not go anywhere. Why would you have to start something over again and feel the shame of coming back?
That's what took me out time and time again. I mean, that you just summed up my story, because I was a guy that was in AA for 20 years, and basically 10 of those years I was abstinent and a big book thumper, but it was get a year, return to use, get a year, return to use, get a year, return to use, get 2 years, return to use, get 2 years, return to use. And the shame, oh my, unless you've been through it, and I'm sure there's millions of people that have been through it, that coupled with the self-fulfilling prophecy of being taught, I have an allergy, once I start I can't stop, and if I consume any mind or mood altering substance, so I could do something that we didn't talk about 20 years ago, but use harm reduction and smoke some ganja, because I don't want to go out and use something from the illicit supply, and the guilt and shame would weigh so heavily that I would say, F it, and go to the illicit supply, whether it was pharmaceutical pills or, the Dominican in Lawrence, and get some H.
Right. So you meant, yeah, it's we must be humble. In the seventh step, it mentions humility, 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 humility. We must humble ourselves. We must embarrass ourselves. We must feel this guilt, shame, and pain and all this fear, because fear keeps us in, and fear, even after we leave, after people leave Alcoholics Anonymous, I still feel some shame and guilt about doing what I'm doing with these podcasts, because I have a couple people that I still know. It's still like, and then when you get these comments back and
Oh,
forth, like these people, like this one lady's calling me a cult leader. I'm a cult, whatever I'm saying they are, they're calling me. I'm the cult leader now, okay? I'm the one. And they're poor children. I feel sorry for the family members. Listen, family members and the friends. We can't fix anybody. But you know what? We know that. So the parent knows. Me as a father, I know I can't fix anybody. So I send them somewhere to get fixed. And Alcoholics Anonymous has indoctrinated society. So the parents feel like we're hurting them if we talk against it, because they're going to fix them.
you might as well just go burn your money. Go buy a bunch of fireworks and light them off and have a good time, because that's what treatment is. I've been to, like I said, more than 50 treatment centers. My parents spent more than at least six figures, and my parents got duped. I got duped. We all got duped. I was handed a 1930s pseudoscientific religious cult that literally taught me a self-fulfilling prophecy, and taught me, it gave me the opposite advice on how to thrive and how to overcome a habit, because you're powerful, you're fully capable, you're able to achieve anything that you can conjure up in this wonderful, beautiful, expandable, just amazing brain and mind that you were born with, and changes, because neuroplasticity and epigenetics, and Bruce Lipton, which is someone that Bobby fucks with, and that guy has helped me change my life, because you can deprogram and you can reprogram. Because what happened to me was, I realize now, I was in my most vulnerable state like everybody else, and I was subconscious. I didn't think I was listening. But every time they read those readings and read about constitutionally incapable of being honest with yourself at 41 years old, I found myself, after fighting life in prison and going to trial and all that for a crime I was a victim in, and escaping AA was harder and more difficult than being on trial facing life in prison. It was absolutely horrifying, because of how many years I wasted and how I always wanted to get better. But better to me was not sitting in a church basement, drinking tons of coffee, cheating on my wife, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and sitting in a church basement being like king shit of little league. Like I hit 14 home runs when I was 11 years old. Well, you're 42 years old. What's your 401k look like? What's your Roth IRA look like? What's your stock portfolio look like? What's your health look like? What's your relationship with your wife and children look like? And most of these people did not have a healthy relationship with any of those things that I experienced in the 12 step cult.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know. Look, we wear masks. We put this mask on and we go into a meeting and sit around like we're perfect because the 12, 12, and 12 symbolizes perfection. Okay. It symbolizes God. So we sit around these meetings with these masks on. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of great friends. I used to go out with them. One of my old buddies, he had time. He'd go in a meeting and he'd preach and he'd come out and somebody cut him off and he'd get out of the car and start yelling at him and screaming at him and cursing at him and he'd be fighting with his wife and everything else. We're human beings. We got these emotions, feelings, and we do shit. Okay. I never judged them. Okay. But we go back into the meetings and we have to portray this fake bullshit lie and become a hypocrite.
Like Macaulay calls it, the performative sharing of AA, where you go in and you performatively share about how spiritually fit you are and how grateful you are. Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, I was selling drugs in sobriety, sitting there talking about how spiritual I am. You want to talk about a hypocrite? Right here. And you
Yeah.
know what? I didn't drink or use over it. You know what I did the last time in sober living? I sold my Suboxone prescription to pay for my rent. And it wasn't dishonest and it wasn't not spiritual. I had to pay the rent or I was going to be homeless. I had to survive. Stop with this spiritual perfection. It's all a lie. We know you're cheating on your wife. Standing up there talking about, I'm sober because I'm honest and I have a great relationship with my wife. But you're hooking up with some newcomer that's living in the sober house down the street and you're 42 and she's 22.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the hypocritical bullshit that we see. Look, I was in, like this guy that now I ain't gonna play him right now, but this guy that we see all the time commenting about, we're we're bashing AA, we're anti-AA, look, I'm pro freedom of speech. Okay. I'm pro freedom of using the mind. I'm pro freedom of less indoctrination, look, repetition is the mother of brainwashing. Okay. Like, like, like Rene just said, you think you're not being programmed in them meetings because you're not doing all that other shit. You can't get away from it because of the programming of all the messaging, all the reading, all the subliminal messaging, all the osmosisly. You're getting the shit osmosisly. Let me touch base on this. You know what? The phenomena. This is the phenomena. This is the phenomena. Phenomena means a fact, occurrence, or circumstance observed or observable that exists. The phenomena of the placebo effect and self-fulfilling prophecy is real. Okay, look it up, look it up, people. Please
Yeah.
look up the definitions. I can read them here, but I don't want to read. It's a everything's a placebo effect out there. Okay, everything, because whatever we believe. If you listen to Joe Dispenza or Dr. Bruce Lipton, everything we believe, we create our own realities. So yeah, AA works. It worked for me too because I believed it. I wanted it because I wanted it. I could have been anywhere. I could have been in the Freedom Model. I could have been in the Smart Recovery. I could have been in doing MAT. I could have been I could have been anywhere. If I wanted it to work, it would have worked because it comes from me. Okay. AA wants to take credit. All these other places want to take credit for us doing it. Take credit for yourself and your success.
But it ties back in. Let's circle back to the illusion of time. Time means absolutely nothing because you have 20 years and some of the sickest, toxic, emotionally immature people that I knew in AA were the ones with 10, 20, 30 years sober. They were the most unethical, they were the most untrustworthy, and it's time. What so you have 20 years. Well, you stopped doing it 20 years ago. What does that matter? What are you doing today? What are you going to do tomorrow? Like, I don't live my life one day at a time. I don't live in this this illusion that because I didn't do something 10 days ago or 10 years ago, that doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make me financially literate. That doesn't make me able to communicate in an adult way. That doesn't make me have a good relationship with my wife when I don't do the dishes and she comes home and yells at me and I act like a 7-year old, but I'm 47, right? It was never, are you happy? Are you like it's like they don't even want to bring up money. Like, are you financially secure? Are you how's your gut bacteria? How's your mental health? How's your relationship with all these different things? It's how much time do you have, which it's not even time, it's the past.
It's not real. It's an illusion. 20 years of doing nothing, staying in the triangle. Put yourself in that triangle, never going outside of the box. Just imagine that. That's definitely the matrix. That's the blue pill. Okay. They take the blue pill, the choice to remain in blissful ignorance. Now, people say, oh, Bobby, you call me ignorant. Ignorant means lack of knowledge and information. So, where are they going? Thankfully, when I was in Alcoholics Anonymous through all these years, I was deprogramming all along because I always went outside the box and I always got new information. Okay, I tried to bring it back into the meetings, but when I came in 41 years ago, there wasn't the internet. I didn't have much choice. Okay, so here we go. Now I don't have any knowledge of anything else outside.
Even 20 years ago, Bobby.
Yeah. So here I'm picking up all these information, getting a little Buddhist, getting Mark Passio, getting some Jordan Maxwell, getting a little bit of this, getting a little bit of that, going and doing one-on-one therapy, Iron John meetings, going outside the box. And I tried to say this stuff in the meetings. Oh, even though I'm considered a elder statesman by some people. But what I was a bleeding deacon, and I loved it because I was the one to be able to speak out against some of the shit. And the old people, the old timers in Alcoholics Anonymous, they would all after I shared, they would always share something to bring it back and put me down and bring it back in. Bleeding deacons. They use that to shun the people that spoke out against anybody. Bleeding deacon.
Yeah. Well, you spoke about the placebo effect or the self-fulfilling prophecy. There's also this thing called the nocebo effect, which is what 12 step is. Nocebo is we give you a diagnosis, and then because we give you this identity, we give you this diagnosis, you now manifest all the symptoms.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I didn't have a substance use disorder until I went to a detox center and was forced to go to 12 step meetings. And then the 12 steppers always tell me how you're not forced. Well, I've been to 50 different treatment centers, sober livings, methadone, the whole thing. And I was forced. Connection that I made when I had a crack in the brainwashing was, you know what? I don't go to these meetings when I'm not forced. I don't want to go to these meetings. And everything that I do outside of this triangle, outside of AA, is what helps me. Going to school for psychology, doing yoga, releasing weight, learning about powerful I am statements, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, the freedom model, Bobby C, listening to Macaulay and Sexton Space and Tara with Burn the Stigma and Sobriety Bestie. Like, I just learned the new one, just read this ideological possession. That's what it is. Yes, they're brainwashed. Yes, they're indoctrinated, but that's why you know what they're going to say. These AA members, I know what they're going to say before they even say it because they're ideologically possessed.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that until two
Yeah.
days ago, and it blew my mind. It was like, oh my god. Now I like brainwashed, indoctrinated. Those words seem kind of harsh to me, even though I know they were true. But it's like I know I know what that AA cult member is going to say before they say it, and they say the same 6 to 12 things on repeat.
Yep. Yep. Here. Let me play this gentleman. You know him. I know you know him. McCauley knows him. Let me play this real quick, and I'm not going to show his face.
These people that criticize AA, these AA bashers, never cease to amaze me. They remind me of the guy who criticizes his own friend behind his back, saying, "Yeah, I know he's toxic, he's rude, he's stingy, and don't get me wrong, he's a good friend, and I give him the shirt on my back." These
We
AA
never did
bashers are the
that.
same
We
way.
never did
They go
that shit.
No, AA members do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
grenaded that
Yeah. You're
it's a heart
brainwashed.
full of pills
You're
for you.
indoctrinated, and it does kill people.
Success rate is low.
The success rate is low.
Yet they'll go, well, listen, man, if it helped you, all I'm trying to say is it didn't work for me. If it helped you, power to you. That's great. The level
Yeah.
of dishonesty, the
Yeah, we're
lack of
dishonest. The level of dishonesty. We're so dishonest that we
How is
can't
that
do anything.
dishonest to honor and respect what someone else says works for them?
Yeah.
If the 12 steps work for you, God bless you. It almost killed me.
Hey, look, he says that we're anti-A, we're bashing, and we say, look, we're trying to help some people. Okay. And if you want to listen, listen. We're not telling nobody what to do. You're going to figure it out yourself because it's got to come from you. I can't make you drink. I can't make you drug. All these language, sobriety, recovery. I mean, I'm getting sick of hearing it. That's all you see. This coach, that coach, this one wants to get you. This guru. There's another one I just sent out, a guru. You know, yeah, I'm getting sick of it, Rainey.
Nobody cares in the real world about your recovery or your sobriety. In the real world, where people are making money, where people are being healthy, where people are hustling and getting stuff done, where people are living life, they don't care.
It's the only thing, drugs and alcohol celebrating for a lifetime. That's the only thing people celebrate for a lifetime. Nothing else. All these successes we do, we don't celebrate. Do I celebrate I quit smoking daily?
No.
Do I celebrate I quit watching, people quit watching porn or gamble or do this or do that or whatever? Do they celebrate? Oh, because it's the carrot and the stick. It's the carrot and the stick. These things and this time, this illusion of time is false. It's not real. Rainey, check him out on Unconquered Healing on TikTok. He's killing it, man. Rainey's helped me out so much. It's crazy. I had a 2.5 hour conversation, personal conversation with him last week. And I'll tell you what, he opens my eyes to stuff. I'm still teachable, AA people. I'm still teachable. As old as I am, I'm still learning crap. Okay. We're teachers and we're students. We got a couple minutes left. Rainey, take us out with something, anything you want.
I just like part of the ideological possession is those people like this guy that you just played, they all call it bashing. Why is my 25-year experience with dozens and dozens and dozens of treatment centers, why is that bashing? Why is my hours and all the time I spent reading dozens of books figuring out the history of AA is a copycat of the Oxford group cult? Why is that bashing? Why is when I read the US of AA and I find out that like Jelinek and Marty Mann and Rockefeller like all conspired to market this to basically get rich and make money. And everybody thought William Silkworth, the doctor's opinion, was a quack doctor. That's not, those are facts. Because you choose not to believe them, that's not like, I can't even say that I necessarily wanted any of this to be true, but I just kept following the carrot that kept showing up. And I had a crack in my brainwashing, and I realized that we've all been duped, and that the overdose rate keeps getting worse and worse and worse because we've been doing AA and NA and whatever other type of A for the last 90 years. It never changes. They just turn it into LGBTQ. They turn it into bisexual AA. They turn it into Gambling Anonymous. They turn it into Gaming Anonymous. And they all use the same broken pseudoscientific model and then wonder why it doesn't work. And then, oh, it has a 95% failure rate, but that's bashing. That's not bashing.
It's reality. See this here? It's a well-designed, this program is designed of control. It's well designed. You don't get a triangle, the all-seeing eye with the circle, just for the hell of it. Okay? It's created and well designed. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Rene, please, over there on Unconquered Healing. Check out Saxon Space. Check them all out, Tara. Bestie, what's that? Sobriety Bestie.
There's a
Check.
whole bunch of us now. A few
Yeah.
years ago, there was 2 or 3 of us, man.
6 years ago, I started this about 6 years ago, and I'm glad to see a bunch of people. But these coaches, they're coming out of the woodwork. Oh, everybody's a coach. Everybody's going to take you here, take you there, get you sober. It's going to come from you, ladies and gentlemen.
You can get it all for free. You can also choose to invest in a coach if you
Yes,
choose
you can.
to, but you can get it all for free. And ultimately, it's up to you. You're the one who created this habit called addiction, and you're the one who's going to create a new healthy habit to live the life that you want to live, and dream big and journal and come up with a huge dream and go out and make it happen.
And manifest it. Look, whatever we focus on, wherever we put our will, our lives and attention into the care, whatever we care about, we manifest it. That's why they said give your life and will over to the care of AA and God, because they wanted to hijack your whole body, mind, and spirit. Just hijack it. Take it away, take it over, because that's the energy we have. We possess this unlimited potential with this manifestation of the brain.